See, and that's what I'm talking about. It's just drinking.
I was not able to turn myself in. I apologize for that.
Did you call your attorney and say you couldn't make it?
But again, I don't know why it's coming up with that. And I didn't have access any of those days to alcohol or have them in my possession at a no drinking facility. So honestly, I'm telling you, I don't have access to
I'm going to tell you, I'm not believing what she's telling. I just don't think she's going to do what anybody asked her to do.
I can assure you I'll be here on the 1st. I will.
You're just not following through. You don't do what you don't want to do. Well, it doesn't work that way. But at this time, defendant's bond is revoked.
This woman walked into Judge Simpson's courtroom already in hot water. She was out on bond for drug and alcohol issues, but instead of following the rules, she tampered with her ankle monitor and got caught drinking. Of course, she denied it all, pretending like nobody could see the truth. But here's the thing, Judge Simpson does not tolerate lies. Bond is built on trust, and once that's broken, jail is usually the next stop. Watching her squirm to explain herself was rough. What do you think? Was the judge too tough or just fair?
We are here for PCC and bond violation. I understand the court has received and reviewed the materials that were sent over yesterday.
I did.
Thank you, Your Honor. The only request that we would have when we're discussing those materials, she is staying in a shelter in Livingston County. There is a separate DV having nothing to do with any of this, and there are some cross allegations in that case. So she's just requesting that we not say the name of the shelter if someone is listening on Zoom to where she's staying.
Understood.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe that the materials that we provided were pretty thorough in terms of where Ms. Brown has been coming from and what her circumstances are in pertaining to the bond violation. So I was wondering if the court had any questions.
Well, I do, because I'm not sure how you provided the materials, but I'm not sure how that relates to the specific allegations of the bond violation. Because what I have, certainly, maybe one might be able to look at the consumption of alcohol, but there was the tampering that occurred for a 12-hour period.
So I am going to let Ms. Brown address that herself with the court. You can explain to him where you're at in terms of the allegation. But I had forwarded her the reports the same day. And just so that Your Honor knows, she did intend to turn herself into the jail this morning, but she was unable to get a ride this morning. And so she's here for in-person court this afternoon. So regarding the tamper on 6/23 and then the positive on 6/25, the court is looking for either an explanation or an admission as to these two.
Your Honor, I don't have any clue why those were coming up that way. I know that I was called in to community corrections to have my unit replaced for servicing. And when on my way there, Ms. Julian called me and said that she received a notification from courts that I had a tampering and violation that she would, wanted clarification about. And I had no idea what she was talking about. I told her that I was just called in to do a replacement on the unit itself. I have only been at La Casa AA meetings and with AA people because I don't currently have transportation and a license to get myself to and from these places. And I have not had access or been in the environments of drinking whatsoever. The only events outside of AA are AA events that I've been to, such as there was a sober rave in Royal Oak that I've gone to, but that wasn't even in the dates in question. So I'll stop with that. But I was completely confused. So I had the unit replaced. And while at community corrections, they had told me that I had this tampering and violation 2 counts. And I was in for my reading the week before during this time. And they said that I was all set, good to go. We'll see you next week. And so I was really unsure why I was getting that unless it was due to needing servicing. But I've not saying, Your Honor, this is way too important.
Well, hold on a second. Just so that we're clear before you go on with your story.
Okay.
On June 23rd at the 12:56 a.m. time.
Yes, sir.
That's when the tamper is detected.
Okay.
With the unit. On the 25th, there isn't a tamper. It's just drinking.
Again, I don't know why it's coming up with that unless the servicing part of it needed it. Because at the shelter where I'm currently residing, there's a locked door policy from 11:30 PM until 7 in the morning. And I didn't have access any of those days to alcohol or have them in my possession at a no drinking facility. And I was at the facility at both of those times.
Story just doesn't add up. She's acting like there's no way alcohol could ever make it into a shelter. But everyone knows that's not true. Shelters aren't locked down prisons. People sneak stuff in all the time. Her whole defense is basically that's impossible, which isn't a defense at all. Instead of proving her side, she's just losing credibility. The judge even gave her space to explain, but she wasted it with excuses. I'm not saying she's definitely guilty, but she's not helping herself at all. When you're already in trouble, weak excuses only make things worse. Do you think she's being dishonest, or could she really be unlucky? She tried saying that shelter records would clear her and asked for a hearing about the ankle monitor. Judge Simpson agreed, but there was a bigger problem. She ignored a warrant and didn't turn herself in. Her lawyer admitted she told her client to report to jail, but instead, the woman made excuses like not having a ride. The judge called her out, saying she doesn't listen to anyone and just does whatever she wants. For Judge Simpson, it was simple. She violated bond by drinking, then ignored a warrant. Bond is basically a deal. You follow the rules, and the court lets you stay free. She broke that deal. She tried to argue that she needed to stay out for medical and therapy appointments, but the judge wasn't convinced. He said she misleads people, doesn't follow instructions, and can't be trusted. So he revoked her bond and kept her in custody until the next hearing. Breaking bond is bad enough, but refusing to show up on a warrant? That's almost guaranteed jail. Judges see it all the time, and once you prove you can't be trusted, it's nearly impossible to get another chance. What I noticed most was Judge Simpson's patience. He gave her multiple opportunities, but when she kept making excuses, he finally shut it down. Sometimes people only learn the hard way, and this was one of those cases. Honestly, I think he handled it exactly right. What about you? Should she have gotten another chance, or did she bring this all on herself?